Hey legends, Phil from Motorsport Tuning Solutions. So in this video we're going to have a look at the G4X plug and play option for from Link ECU. Now this ECU is a brilliant ECU, so a lot of questions I get is what comes with the ECU and what should I put with the ECU to get the maximum out of it. So in this video we'll go through everything to give a bit of clarity on the matter. Okay, so what comes in the Link G4X plug and play ECU kit that you get from your Link dealer? It comes with the ECU board that needs to be installed into the factory ECU case. This one's an R33 GTR ECU case with a Link G4X. It also comes with a USB cable so you can now communicate from your laptop to the ECU. You can also go online and download the G4X software for free, so you can look at that if you would like to, or you just leave it up to your tuner. You can tune the car, you can get the car started, you can tune the car as it is, just like that. But we advise that you run a couple of extra small expansion looms and CANBUS cables and sensors just to get the maximum out of the ECU. So we'll go over those now. First things first, all Link G4X ECUs, because there's multiple platforms, Hondas, Subis, Skylines, whatever it might be, JZs, they have a minimum of one. Most of them have two expansion loom ports, expansion loom cables. This is an expansion loom. It's about 2.5 meters worth of cable and has 8 cores. So 8 wires. Some ECUs, G4Xs, you can have 3 expansion looms. So if you just do the math, that's 8 cores times 2 or 3. That's quite a few inputs and outputs that we can now put into. And this is additional to your normal engine setup, which is all through here. This is additional, so you can have a lot of inputs and outputs for things like air intake temperature sensors. We've got boost controller kits, we've got pressure sensors for fuel and oil and stuff like that. You've got ethanol content sensors, anything you please to put additional onto your ECU. So you can see if you just get a couple of these affordable expansion loom cables, they're about $70, so they're really not expensive. And you can have access to a lot more inputs and outputs on the ECU. Another thing to consider as well is the third cable I suggest that you get, because I would say you get 2 of these at a minimum, is a CANBUS cable. Why would we want to use a CANBUS cable? Once again, Link have 2 or 3 ports on the ECU to allow expansion looms. We have 2 CANBUS networks, CANBUS Network 1 and CANBUS Network 2. So I just advise that you just get one of these CANBUS cables, because if you want to have multiple CANBUS devices like wideband sensors, CAN keypads, digital dashes, you can daisy chain those up with a CAN hub. Alright, so highly advise that you have access to CANBUS on here because it's very powerful on the Link ECU setup, and highly advise that you have access to all the inputs and outputs on here. Lastly, we'll look at the sensors that we advise that you run with the G4X. First things first is intake air temperature sensor. This is really affordable and definitely a must. The next, we run 2 pressure sensors. So one for the oil and one for the fuel. So we've got fuel pressure input, oil pressure input, intake air temperature input, and then lucky last is the wideband sensor. So this goes in your downpipe. I don't need to explain about a wideband sensor, but that'll do your air-fuel ratio if you want to look at it like that. So those 4 sensors should be a standard, obviously with the 2 expansion looms and the CANBUS loom. Now, we believe by setting these up all the time that should actually be the standard for all ECU installs, whether it's a different brand like Haltech, Motec, whatever it is. At least the 2 pressure sensors and the intake air temperature sensor with all the factory coolant temperature sensors and everything that you have on a factory ECU. Look, if you want to, that's keeping in mind budget concerns. If you want to throw all sensors on it that you want, like ethanol sensors, CANBUS, keypads, digital dashes, definitely go for that. But as just a basis of a really good safety sensor package, and what you should do to when you're installing one of these ECU, those 3 main pressure sensors, with the wideband sensor is a must. Now, you can get all of this through us at Motorsport Tuning Solutions. We've got a huge amount of knowledge on how to set up these types of vehicles, whether they're Skylines, GDRs, Subis, Hondas, it doesn't really matter. It's the G4X system that we're really fond of and really understand. So please reach out, don't hesitate, we'd love to help.